One of the major highlights of the game is being able to choose from more than one playable ship. Each person in the group is supposed to design one ship for the game, so there should be at least 6 ships for the player to choose from. The user will be given a menu, and based off of the ships on the menu, they can choose what ship they want. Another feature of the game will be the many kinds of guns the game has. Similar to other overhead airplane games, there's a lot of different kind of weapon types. There's energy weapons such as lasers that may or may not track. There may be some rockets or missiles that would track. Some kinetic weapons, machine guns, such. I don't know, just some crazy guns. One of the points of the game is to make each of the playable ships feel unique. So by each ship playing a role, such as maybe a tank, one might be a small fast fighter or something like that, and mixing it with the weapon types that the ship could potentially have, the playable ships should feel pretty unique. Throughout the game, the player will be able to pick up drops that allow for weapon progression to upgrade the weapons, maybe different parts of the ship. Another important feature of the game is being able to make the maps feel realistic, but different. So the game is going to feature some different terrain types. Some might be some water types, maybe some snow biomes. Here's some examples from another game. There's some plains, maybe a forest river. Just something to give the game some diversity. Another thing to note with the terrain types is that given certain terrain, certain enemies may spawn, certain enemies may not spawn. So if there's a water level, obviously tanks are going to spawn in, and it will have an effect on what kind of enemies spawn in. One of the final features of the game is the ability for the player to maintain their scores from previous playthroughs. Certain stats will be saved through each playthrough, and that will make up the high scores list.
Hi, I'm Breon Davis. I'm going to go over the main areas that I'll be focusing on during the game development. My main areas would be the music for each level and the sound effects of the game, and also the game's HUD. Here you can see this green bar will represent the ship's health, and below that will be the ship's shield. So if you pick up a power up of the shield, it will be displayed here. So you can see how much of the shield you have left, how much more damage you can take. Below that, this white box will have the current score. As you're playing the game, the more enemies you defeat, the higher the score will be, and it will be displayed here. Above the score box will be like different icons for the game. So like if you get any power-ups, they'll all be displayed down here. This big blue area will be the game stage. So you can see all of the enemies and all the different things like that here. And then on the right will display the boss's health. This big red bar will be the boss's health, and on the yellow bar will be the shield if the boss has a shield or something like that. I decided to do it this way so that way all the stats and stuff will be out of the way. You can see all the enemies and the stats all at once.
Hello, I'm Yu Chen Feng. I'll talk about what I'm responsible for the 10 project. First is the screen size. Basically, we will have 2 screen sizes. One is full screen, one is windowed. The next is the life bar. Every time when you start a game, you will have 3 lives, and each life will have 100 health or the shield. So how it works? Once you got hit by an enemy, you will lose 10% of your shield. After 10 times, you will lose 1 life, then the second life, then the third life. We also have the 10 counter. It will show you how long you've been on the current level. Next is the tutorial. Every time when you start game, it will pop out an image, show you how to play the game. The first step is show you how to move. After you click each of the button, it will go to next step. This is show you how the ship will works, like how you shoot, how you use a special weapon. After you click each of the button.
Hello everybody, I'm going to talk about what will be my contribution to our project for the rest of the semester. As you can see, I can resume it with 3 big titles. Firstly, I will make sure that every player will be able to play using the keyboard and the mouse, and this means that the basic features of the game like the ship's movements or killing enemies, changing weapons, and also the control to access and exit the game will be done using only the keyboard and the mouse. Secondly, I will make sure that every player will be able to enter cheat codes in the game to skip levels or maybe to unlock new weapons and features. Finally, I will make sure that every player will be able to play with their friends, and this means that our game will be a multiplayer game allowing people to play and compete together. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, my name is William McLean, and here are my responsibilities for the project. My main responsibility will be creating the enemy vehicles, all individual with distinct behaviors and movements, and with different stats, such as different health, weapons, and speeds. My other responsibility will be the main player ship with the various states that it should have, such as stationary, vertical, and horizontal movement states, and damaged and destroyed states. Also, the ability to have different types of ships with different.
Hi, I'm Michael McGregor, and I'm going to talk about the stuff that I'm responsible for. The first thing I'm responsible for is the menu that lets the users see the weapons they have on their ships. This is just a rough sketch of what it might look like. Over here would be the different tier of weapons the ship could have. So like the first tier would be what it starts with. It might have just a little description of what it is or something. And then the second tier, after you get the upgrade, this is what it would become. Once again, maybe a description. Third, fourth. Another thing that I'm responsible for is relaying any information to the player about enemies that are on a level. So for instance, this could be a screen where it could list at the top the different enemy types, maybe the different unique enemy types that would be on this level that would have some special ability, and you could hover over it. And then down here, it would have an expanded form where you could see it and it could list out some traits of it. The final thing I'm responsible for is the weapon systems on the ships. So for instance, take this one where it's machine guns and rockets. It'll begin with having 2 machine guns or something in the front. And then after it gets an upgrade, it'll get more machine guns and add rockets or something to it.
My name is Ryan Cognac, and for my contribution to the project, I will be working with Michael in creating some of the interesting upgrades that we'll have for the game. I will also be working on the leaderboard. Here's a general mock-up as what it may be for. I will also be working on some of the save progress that will feed into the leaderboard, and I will be working on some of the unique levels for it, which includes some of the layout, flow, and enemy patterns as to how they spawn for this project.
Next, I'll be talking about the working agreement, where we've decided that each sprint needs a goal and that everyone has a word in the conversation and the discussion. We also have decided to make decisions as a team. Punctuality is very important, so we're going to make sure that we're on time for meetings. Commenting code is very essential for a project of this scale, so commenting code to show what we were doing and making sure those comments are meaningful to the project. We're going to use a model view controller design pattern for the creation of the classes. Our meeting days are going to be Tuesday, 4:15, and Saturday at 1:00 p.m. We're going to make a commitment to commit and push all updates of our code that we're working on each day by the end of the day so that the members can access them for the next day. We've decided to go ahead and use NetBeans IDE for our development and GitHub